story called Rem Sleep. Okay? Have you ever had a dream that was really, really lifelike? That when you woke up, you kind of had a hard time deciding if it was actually a dream? You might have been scared or woke up crying or really mad at someone. Well, one of the scariest dreams I've ever had was just like this. Okay? Now, my family loves to go camping, but we didn't go very often. But when we did, we always had fun. We'd go hiking and fishing, and we'd roast marshmallows by the fire and tell scary stories. It was always fun. It had been a long and eventful day, and we were just settling down after eating our spaghetti dinner to play some card games. The night was calm and peaceful, and the night creatures had just come out to start singing us their lullabies. The breeze was soft and blowing through the branches, making shh sounds as it went through. The crickets came out to play their violins. The wolves were tooting, or the apples were tooting their horns, and way off in the distance you could hear a coyote cry. Ow, ow! It was a very pretty, beautiful night. Now my family loves to play card games, okay? And I learned a new one that I wanted to teach them. It's called Egyptian Rat Kill. And I told them all the rules, okay? So you lay down one card at a time. If you get a double, like a 4 and a 4, you slap it and you collect the deck. If you get a run, like a 5, 6, 7, or 8, you slap it and you collect the deck. Now this was the tricky part. If you lay down a face card, like a jack, the person next to you had 4 chances to lay down another face card. Okay? A jack was 4, queen was 3, king was 2, and an ace was 1. Now my parents were just getting the hang of it, and we'd started another round when the atmosphere changed. The creatures stopped singing their songs. It was too still and too quiet, and I had this eerie feeling that someone was watching me. You know how that is. When the hair on your arms starts to stand up, and you get prickles on the back of your neck, and you slow down your breathing and you try to listen for any change, but there was nothing. No change, not a sound, not a single stir, and that is when I saw it. A set of eyes, illuminated by the fire's glow, appeared in the bushes across from our picnic table, and I froze. Mom, I whispered. She looked up from the cards in her hands to my face, and all I could do was slowly raise one hand and point. Confused, she followed my arm, and she looked to what I was pointing at, then my dad, and then my sister, and I listened to their 3 sharp intakes of breath. We didn't know what to do. We just stared. The eyes never blinked, they only narrowed. And then out of the shadows, a wet nose appeared, followed by a paw, and then another paw, until its entire body was out of the bushes and standing in a pool of moonlight in front of us. It was a wolf. We just stared. Mom? I whispered again, my voice kind of shaking. Shh, don't move, she said, but it was a little too loud. The wolf's eyes narrowed like darts, and its mouth twisted up into a greedy, sly smile, as if it had a secret. And then out of nowhere, 2 more sets of gleaming eyes appeared on either side of the first, as if they were waiting for the cue from their leader to appear. It's like they'd been there the whole time. Mom, I said again. Get in the tent, she said harshly. But the instant we started to move, the first wolf let out a nasty growl from its throat. It was deep and low and oh, so terrifying. The next few moments passed in a blur. The wolves sprang forward. My family started to run, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw my mom stumble over a branch that had fallen. I stopped moving. It was as if my body didn't know what to do anymore. My ears started to ring, and all I could do was stare as the first wolf latched onto my mom's ankle. And then out in the distance, I heard my dad yell, "Go!" And his strong hand grabbed my arm and pulled me forward. My sister and I dove into the tent, followed by my dad, and then the zip, zip, zip of the tent door closing. "No!" I shouted. "Mom, we can't just leave her there." Out of the distance, I could hear my mom scream in pain. "Mom, please, you have to do something." My dad did nothing. He just sat there and stared back at me with a terrified expression. His eyes were wide with fear and shame. Ugh! I was disgusted. How could he not go do anything? I shoved past my dad and I unzipped the tent and I hurled myself out. I saw my mom laying on the ground, the wolves lurching forward for another brutal assault. My mom swung out with a branch that she had fallen over and nailed one right between the eyes, but she was outnumbered. I looked into the wood pile to find the thickest branch I could find. I picked it up and I charged with the battle cry, "Ah!" The wolves stopped their attack for a moment and looked up at me with hunger plastered on their faces. As I ran forward, I swung out with all my might. Whack! I nailed one in the jaw. Whack! I nailed another one across the head. I was bringing my branch back to prepare myself for the final beast, the leader of the pack, the one whose eyes I saw creeping from the bushes. I was terrified. There were so many things buzzing around in my head, and I didn't know what to do, but I prepared myself to fight it. The wolf lurched forward, and I swung out my branch, and right before it hit him in the muzzle, I woke up. My heart was pounding, and I was terrified, but mostly, I was furious. How could my dad not do anything? How could he just stand there? Why was I brave enough to face the wolves when he wasn't? It took me all morning to calm down, and all the self-control I had to not punch my dad in the face anytime I saw him. I was so mad. But what did this dream mean? Was it my self-conscious telling me that I was brave? Was it telling me that when it came to my family, I would always show loyalty to them? Or was it simply a scary and terrifying dream? Either way, it was not one that I wanted.